Good afternoon, Africa. Good afternoon, African Confessions. I am back with another episode. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and the message reads like this. Brother Nashi, my story goes like this. My father has reached a point whereby he is not even hiding the truth from us. He is being open with us. He clearly told us that he is a ritualist and he is a snake that he has been using to make all the money that he has. My father then said to me, "To you, my daughter, I have given this snake as your husband. You are the wife to this snake." I was shocked when my father told me that my husband was a snake, but as much as it hurts, when I look back into my own life, I can see that my father was telling me the truth. Yes, he did dedicate my life to this snake. This snake has become my husband, but it hurts me the most. Why would my father do such a thing to me? Now I am 39 years old. I am just living a lonely life. My father told me and my siblings, he said to us, even if you were to go to church, even if you were to climb the mountains up and down more than 100 times, even if you were to seek God's face, there is nothing that you can do about it, because I have dedicated your body to this snake. Until death, you are supposed to be the wife to this snake. What do you expect this snake to do? Don't you know that if a man has his own woman, that man is supposed to guard that woman, and he has to be jealous of any man that might try to approach his own woman? That is what this snake does to me, Brother Nashi. This is what has been happening to me. If any man tries to approach me, in the end, that man will just give me a silly excuse so that we cannot meet up again. As for my own sisters, they were married, and when they got married, one day you will just wake up and you will see that your sister will be at the gate with her husband. Then the husband will just say to my father, "I no longer want to be married to your daughter anymore," without any reason given. And my father will gladly accept my sisters without ever questioning the husband, without ever questioning my sister what would have happened. But my father will just take my sister in. Now we are just staying at home. Our mother died, so we just stay with our father and my sisters. My father is a rich man. We lack nothing in life, but I am just a lonely woman. Back in the day, I used to be friends with this young guy. So this guy, I could clearly see that he had fallen in love with me. But whenever he would try to tell me that he loved me, he wants to date me, something will just happen to him. Something will just come up. Then he will say, "I will tell you tomorrow." In the end, when we got separated, he was going to live in another town. Now this former friend of mine, he is married, he has his own family. But there was this other day, he just reminded me of our friendship back in the day. That is when he asked me, "Do you still remember those days when we were together?" Each and every time when I would tell you that I have something important that I want to tell you. And he told me that each and every time when he would want to tell me that he had fallen in love with me, he said that whenever he would want to tell me those words, he felt that there was something that would come to close his mouth. On other occasions, he said to me he would feel that he could not even move his own jaws whenever he would think of telling me that he had fallen in love with me. And that was the reason why he just had to stop being friends with me. And I believed him, because I remember that back in those days, even today, it still happens. Whenever a man approaches me, maybe I'll be walking down the street and a man will be driving a car. That man can actually roll down their window, showing interest in you. But as soon as they look at you, and when you look back at them, that man will just say, "Excuse me," then they'll just drive away. Even if you are walking and a man approaches you, he can speak with you. The moment that you look back at him, that man will just say to you, "Excuse me, I am sorry," and he will just walk away. When I think about my life, I feel so stressed about everything that is happening to me. My brother, now I am 39 years old. I don't have a child, and I don't have any hope that one day I'll ever get married. How will I ever get married when no man ever tries to approach me to tell me that they love me? Now I'm 39 years old. If I were to tell you that I have never had sexual intercourse, no one would ever believe me. The way that I lost my virginity, it was through watching videos, adult videos, and also using some toys when I was pleasing myself. Because of stress, I just have to find a way to please my own self, because there is no man that approaches me. Every man that tries to approach me will just run away. So I ended up developing this behavior of pleasing myself. I mean, like masturbating. That is the way that I lost my virginity. When I kept on using those toys, then I lost my virginity. After our father had told us that he was a ritualist, me and my sisters, one day we decided to confront him, but our father made a threat against us, and it was a scary threat. He said to us, "If you keep on going around looking for help, and if you decide to disturb my peace, I am going to do to you what I did to your mother." And what our father was trying to tell us is that he is the one who was responsible for our mother's death. The reason why we had confronted our father is that we just wanted our father to release us. We don't want to be his prisoners anymore. But he said to us, each and every time when you go to poop in the toilet, where do you think that food is coming from? Do you think that I just go into the forest and I pick up the food as if it is grass? I have to use money to buy all the food that is in this house, and when I bring this food in this house, and when you people eat this food that I bring in this house, you just think that maybe this food, I have picked it up and it had fallen from the sky. Well, the money that I have used to buy this food, it is ritual money, and you have to get used to it. My brother, this is the situation that we are facing in our own home. When our mother died, she had just bought a very beautiful set of dinner plates. Those plates were still boxed. She had not yet used them. Then she died. But after her burial, when we had seated down as a family, and my mother's relatives, they were saying that they wanted to share amongst themselves everything that belonged to my mother, things like kitchen stuff, because in our country, that is the custom. If a woman dies, all the plates and everything that will be in the kitchen, it will be divided amongst her relatives so that her spirit can rest in peace. But what surprised me and my sisters is that new box of dinner plates that my mother had just bought, it went missing. After my mother's death, that is when we knew that our own father had taken that box of dinner plates and had placed it into a certain room, and in that room no one is allowed to enter. It is only him who enters into that room. The day that he told us that he was a ritualist, he said to us, whenever you cook and whenever you are eating, make sure that you don't finish all the food that you'll be eating in your plate. That is the rule that is in our home. When you eat, you don't finish all the food that will be in your plate. You have to leave something. And when we wake up in the morning, all the food that you would have left behind, it will be all gone. My father has many cars, but he has this car that he uses whenever he wants to buy food. My father doesn't go to the supermarkets or anywhere else. He just goes straight to the wholesalers. That is where he buy all of his food, but he buys the food in bulk, as if he wants to buy maybe for a big function. When he comes back, he doesn't ask anyone for help. He just offload all of the food all by himself, and he just take all of the food into that room, and no one is allowed to enter into that room. And whenever our father is in that room, there is always noise, as if he will be fighting with someone in that room. And when he comes out of that room, my father will be looking so tired, as if he just had a fight, and we don't know what goes on in that room. about my mother's dinner plates. There was this other day, we were just sitting and I was talking with my siblings, discussing about my mother's dinner plate. Then late at night, I had a dream, and in that dream, I saw my mother. She was standing in the kitchen. She was busy washing her dinner plate. Then I said, "Oh, mother, you are back," because I was so happy that my mother is back. She was going to rescue us from everything that is going on in our life. So when I said, "Oh, mother, you are back," she just looked at me. Then she ran away. Where she ran to, I don't even know. But what surprised us is that the next day, we saw those same dinner plates in the kitchen sink, and our father just took those dinner plates. He was so angry. Then he took them into that room that is forbidden. When he went into that room, he was so angry. It was like he was shouting at someone. Then he started to break our mother's dinner plates, and it was so painful for us. Now, my brother, on my own side, what happens to me is that whenever I'll be asleep in my room at night, I'll just see that a snake will just come into my room. Sometimes I can just feel a presence that there is someone with me in my room. Then that snake will make me to be its own wife. You know what I mean. After that snake would have finished with me, my father immediately would walk into the room. I don't even know how he will know that the snake has finished to make me its own wife. So what my father does is that whenever he enters my room at night, he doesn't walk forward, he just walks backwards. I have never been able to see my father's face. Whenever he walks into my room, he will be holding a traditional basket each and every time when he will be walking into my room, because what that snake does is that whenever it would have finished making me its own wife, it will start to vomit money. So my father would walk into my room walking backwards. Whilst he is holding that traditional basket, he will kneel down, then he will start to pick up all of the banknotes that snake would have vomited. He doesn't even look at me or even to check if I am dead or alive. When he sees that his basket is filled up with new banknotes, he just walks out of my room without ever looking at me. This is what goes on in my life. About this snake, my brother, this snake is not even afraid of people. Now that our father has told us that he is a ritualist, we can actually see everything in reality. Whenever we will come across this snake, back in the days, what we would used to do is to burn some tires and also throw stones at it. But that snake will just surprise us. It will not even be afraid. There was this other older man who used to come at our house to do garden services, but my father fired him when he had killed this other snake. Our father doesn't want us to kill those snakes. We are staying in the low density areas. The house that our father built is a nice house, but when you look at it, it's like we are staying in the forest. There are big trees. It is actually scary because the whole thing looks like a jungle. My brother, this is the kind of a life that I am living, and it is not an easy thing. Each and every night, whenever that snake chooses to visit me, my father will then walk into my room naked. It is not an easy thing for a child to see your own parent walking into your room backwards naked, as they will be holding a basket, picking up money from the floor. I mean, the sight of seeing a snake vomiting money, it is not an easy thing to witness each and every day. I don't know how you can help me, but this is the situation that I am facing, my brother. Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from Anonymous. Then it had to be translated. Such a sad story, such a sad story. Let us meet again in the following episodes.